Assalamu alaikum. How are you, my dear students? I think all of you are fine. By the grace of Almighty Allah, I am also fine. Dear students, most welcome to online classes of Rangamati Government High School of class 10 of English first paper. Dear students, we have taken lot of classes about English first paper. In our last 3 classes, we have showed how to write a dialogue. I think all of you have understood well. In our last classes, we have told that we practice dialogue about 2 friends. Today we shall try to practice how to write a dialogue between you and a doctor. Dear students, as I told in my last classes, dialogue is a conversation which we have to write in our khata, in our exam paper. So it is little bit different from other writings. You have to maintain some rules and regulations for writing a dialogue, such as you have to use contraction form, you have to use simple sentence, you have to use local language, I mean colloquial, and you have to maintain the lines, you have to maintain colons, and you have to maintain capital marks and punctuations. Dear students, I think you have remembered all these things, and you have to practice a lot for writing a good dialogue. In your answer script, you have to write dialogue at least 2 or 3 pages, and you have to give a gap between 2 names. Dear students, now please follow the board. I am telling some other rules, then I shall discuss a dialogue between you and a doctor. Dear students, you have to put all the columns in a margin. You have to also put all the names in a margin, and you have to give a gap after name to colon, at least half inch, and you have to give a gap after colon to sentence at least half inch. And dear students, if any sentence needs 2 lines, then you have to write it from after colon, not before colon. And dear students, our today's question is a dialogue between you and the doctor. In our previous class, we have tried to learn you write a dialogue between 2 friends. Today, 2 different persons. One person is you and another person is doctor. And please follow the board. Myself, may I come in, doctor? It's a question, so you have to give a question mark here. If you give full stop here, it will be wrong. So you should be conscious about punctuation and capitalization. Then doctor will say, yeah. Dear students, you may write here, yes, but dialogue is a colloquial form. We should write the dialogue in a colloquial form. So we should write, yeah, not yes. Doctor, yeah, come and take your seat. Myself, thanks. I am anxious about my health. There is contraction, I apostrophe N. In another writing, you have to write full form, but in dialogue, you have to write this sorts of English, this sorts of verbs with pronoun in contraction form. Thanks, I am anxious about my health. Then doctor, okay, let me feel your pulse and blood pressure. Then myself, please check me thoroughly. And dear students, as this board is not big enough, so I felt right all the dialogues, all the sentences in this board. Here you should form some other questions, some other lines, some other sentence, so that your dialogue may complete. So I have silent it in here. You have to write it in your khata or in your exam paper. Then doctor, yeah, you are all right. Good stuff. It's for your overwork. Doctor, check you and he finds no problem, you have to write it before this doctor's conversation, and after checking doctor find you, you are alright. There is also contraction, and after yeah you have to use comma. At first doctor used a yeah, that was YEA. You may write that yeah like that, YEAH. Another form of yeah you can write, and that is only YA. Then it's for your overwork. There is also contraction. The full form of it was it is. You should not write here it is. You have to write here it's, as it is a dialogue. It is a conversation. Then myself, really, you are astonishing here. So you must put a note of exclamation there. And then doctor, yeah, take exercise, balanced diet, and proper rest. Then myself, okay doctor, I shall follow your advice. Thank you. There is a contraction, and that is I shall. And instead of I shall, in contraction form, we shall write only I apostrophe double L. Then doctor, you are welcome. And there is also contraction, that is U apostrophe RE. You are welcome. Dear students, in brief, it is our today's dialogue. As I told before starting my class, you have to maintain some rules and regulations for writing dialogue. Once again, I am remembering you all that rules. At first, you have to use local language, I mean colloquial. You have to use simple sentence. You have to use contractions. You have to use proper and sufficient and important punctuation and capitalization. You have to use standard interruptions like error, etc. And you have to use minor sentences. You need not write full sentences every time. Sometimes you should write minor sentences in your dialogue. Dear students, as I told before, dialogue writing is little bit different from other writings. All the other writings like paragraph compositions, stories, letter, applications, and so on is a formal way of writing, but dialogue is a writing which is a conversation between two persons, and that conversation we have to put in our khata, in our exam paper, so it should be written in a different way as I described in my today's class and my previous 3 classes. I have also tried to make understand you how to write a dialogue. Dear students, I think all of you have understood well. You have to practice a lot at your home. You have to give concentration about the rules and regulations of the dialogue, and you have to write this dialogue at least 2 or 3 pages. Between two names, you have to give good gaps so that it may look very nice. You have to put all the columns in a margin. You have to put all the names also in a margin, and after name and up to colon, you have to give at least half-inch gap, and after colon to sentence, you have to give gap at least half-inch gap, and then your dialogue will show nice, and you will get good marks in dialogue. Dear students, I think you have understand our today's class, and I think in our next class we shall try to write another form of writing of your English first paper, and that is letter writing. It is our left topics which we haven't discussed yet. So we shall try to learn you, we shall try to show you how to write a good letter in your exam or in your practice khata. So dear students, before that you are getting 7 days time from today to our next class. Within that period, you have to practice at least 7 dialogue at your home, and thus you can expert in writing dialogue. So dear students, be smart, stay home and stay safe. Thank you all for watching our today's class.